Before you speak, the room has already told you who is in charge and what they truly want. Most people miss these signals. They talk first, spend their social capital guessing, and follow the wrong lines of power. But by listening to the room before you say a word, you can map the hidden agenda, feel the emotional currents, and know exactly where the real decision will be made. Stay with me, and by the end of this video, you will be able to enter any room and in under 2 minutes, understand its invisible wiring. You will learn to stay composed, and you will learn how to make your contributions count. Your ability to make these rapid judgments is not a guess. It is a well-documented skill. Researchers Nalini Ambady and Robert Rosenthal called it thin slicing. In their foundational studies, they showed that people could watch a silent, 30-second video clip of a teacher and rate their effectiveness with startling accuracy. Those flash judgments correlated remarkably well with the ratings from students who had spent an entire semester with that teacher. The room is always broadcasting this kind of information. The key is knowing which signals to tune into and which to ignore. It's about spotting the patterns in glances, posture, and the subtle flow of attention that reveal the underlying structure of the group. Your first task is to map the flow of social energy, not the formal hierarchy on the org chart. The person with the official title is not always the center of gravity. Look for the informal hub, the person others physically orient toward, even when someone else is speaking. Who do people glance at for approval after they make a key point? Who has the power to summarize what the group has decided and have that summary stick? That person holds the real influence. Imagine you are pitching to a client committee. The vice president opens the meeting and does most of the talking. But you notice the analyst in the corner, quietly taking notes. When the VP proposes a timeline, 2 other members subtly glance at the analyst. They ask, "Does that work with the data we have?" The analyst gives a slight, almost imperceptible nod, and the conversation moves on. The VP has the title, but the analyst has the veto. That is your hub. To ignore them is to risk failure. Once you have identified the hub, route your most important points through them. You don't need to be obvious. A simple shift in eye contact to include them at a critical moment is often enough. You can also verbally bridge to them with a respectful question like, "Does that align with the constraints you're tracking?" When you get a nod or a sign of agreement from the true center of influence, you will feel the rest of the room relax and fall in line. You have just spoken the hidden language of the group. Next, pay attention to the rhythm of conversation. Who speaks most often? Who gets interrupted? And who can interrupt others without social penalty? The distribution of airtime is a direct measure of the group's perceived status hierarchy. But more importantly, the pattern of turn-taking is a powerful predictor of the group's collective intelligence. This idea is not just a feeling, it has been measured. At MIT, researchers led by Alex Pentland used badges to track team communication. They found that a team's energy and the equality of its conversational turns predicted success better than individual intelligence. This was confirmed by research from Anita Woolley, who discovered a collective intelligence in groups that was fueled by equal participation. And at Google, a massive internal study called Project Aristotle found that their most effective teams all shared one trait, psychological safety, which allows for exactly this kind of balanced, open conversation. Smart groups are not led by a single genius. They are networks where every voice can be heard. If you find yourself being consistently interrupted or notice that others are being silenced, do not confront the person, fix the process. You can gently propose a structural change that enforces fairness. Say something like, "This is a complex issue. To make sure we capture every angle, could we go around the table one by one?" Or, "Let's time box this. Everyone gets 60 seconds for their opening thought." This reframes the issue as one of efficiency and fairness, not personal conflict. Every group has an emotional tone. Sometimes it is calm and focused. Other times it is anxious, agitated, or cynical. This emotional weather is highly contagious and dramatically affects a group's ability to cooperate and perform. A single person's mood can, often unconsciously, pull the entire room into its orbit. Your task is to read that temperature and decide whether to match it or change it. Researcher Sigal Barsay demonstrated this powerful effect in a series of lab studies. By planting a single confederate in a group and instructing them to act with either cheerful enthusiasm or depressive lethargy, she was able to measurably shift the entire group's mood. This in turn affected their cooperation, their levels of conflict, and even their perceived performance on a task. Most participants were completely unaware that their emotional state had been influenced by one person. If a room's energy is chaotic or anxious, do not mirror it. Become the source of calm. Consciously slow your own breathing rate. Keep your vocal tone steady and low, avoiding sharp peaks of excitement or frustration. Keep your posture open and relaxed. This self-regulation creates an anchor point. Within 10 to 20 seconds, you will often feel the room's rhythm start to subconsciously sync with yours. You are not just managing your own state, you are offering a more resourceful state to the entire group. Decisions are rarely made by an entire group at once. They are often pre-negotiated by small, unspoken alliances. You can spot these coalitions by watching for synchronized behavior. Two people who lean forward at the same time, who exchange a brief glance before one of them speaks, or who laugh at the same moments are likely aligned. Even shared laughter is a kind of voting system. People laugh more readily and warmly at jokes made by high-status allies. Think of a staff meeting. Whenever a junior employee, Jenna, offers an idea, three of her colleagues immediately glance at Miguel, a quiet senior engineer. Miguel isn't the manager, but his reaction dictates the group's. If he gives a slow, subtle nod, Jenna's idea is discussed. If his lips tighten, the topic is changed within a minute. That glance is a loyalty check. The group is silently asking, are we with her or are we with him? Miguel's silent veto is where the real power lies. Finally, pay attention to how people use space. The psychiatrist Edward T. Hall called this proxemics, where people direct their bodies, and especially their feet, reveals their priorities in a way their polite words may not. Feet tend to point toward the person or issue of greatest interest. If someone's torso and feet are oriented toward you, you have their full attention. If their eyes are on you, but their feet are aimed at the door, their mind has already left the conversation. Online, these cues change, but the principles remain. On a video call, the new body language is the pattern of engagement. Who gets the most replies in the chat? Whose comments earn a flurry of reaction emojis? Notice the rhythm of muting and unmuting. Who unmutes quickly to agree with a specific person? That is the digital hub of influence. To shape the flow, use direct questions to pull in quiet stakeholders by name. And when you deliver your most important point, look directly into the camera lens to create a powerful sense of eye contact. All of these observations are useless if you are not in a calm, receptive state. Anxiety projects its own narrative onto a room. When you are agitated, you start to see threats and conspiracies that are not there. Your ability to make accurate, thin-sliced judgments depends on your internal composure. The calmer you are, the clearer you see. Before you try to read the room, you must first read yourself. Your composure is the lens through which you view the world. Keep it clean. Put this into practice with a simple micro-protocol. When you enter a new situation, give yourself permission to be silent. Take 2 slow breaths. Do 1 clean scan of the room, looking only for these patterns: glances, turn-taking, and mood. Then when you do speak, make your first contribution a single, crisp point or a clear, open-ended question. This discipline prevents you from reacting and allows you to act with intention. A final, critical point: context is everything. These signals can shift dramatically across cultures. Norms for eye contact, personal space, and interruptions vary. Furthermore, in highly structured environments like a courtroom or a military briefing, formal rank may genuinely dictate the flow of power. Always look for patterns, not single data points, and avoid making assumptions about individuals. Your goal is to observe the dynamics of the system, not to diagnose the people within it. So here is the reframe. Rooms run on rhythm, not on resumes. Power reveals itself in who controls the pace, and the true agenda is hidden in who people look to for permission. For your next meeting, try this one action. Say nothing for the first 90 seconds. Just watch. Count the interruptions. Track the glances. Feel the tempo. Then, match your first sentence to that rhythm and route it through the real hub. You will be astonished at the difference. If this helped you see the hidden lines, subscribe to MindMote for one clear idea each week to master the unspoken rules of the room. Stay calm and stay unplayed.